Hey, guess what? Capitalism works. What do you know? You already know, of course, it is the engine that has propelled U.S. and Western civilization over hundreds of years, and now is propelling the rest of the world to wealth that is unbelievable compared to prior generations. And these capitalistic things, the things that make capitalism work, commonly result in swings. And some of these swings are caused by things like tornadoes or hurricanes or droughts or COVID viruses, wars, all kinds of things cause swings. And some of them are natural and some of them are man-made, and some of them are just depressions that come from time to time or recessions that come, and you see swings backwards and forwards. And these swings make it really hard on manufacturers, wholesalers, importers, and retailers to know how to buy, what prices to charge, whether, they get over inventoried and then they have to stop buying. They don't have enough inventory, so they overload themselves with orders that they hope will come in soon. And then you see swings back and forth. And that's just part of business. I've been doing business for a very, very long time. And I can tell you that I've been through so many of these swings, it's really hard to count them all. And some of them have been devastating. One of them completely destroyed one product line that we had and almost put us out of business. So swings are part of what happens in a capitalistic world. So this is Randy Kirk, and you know what to do if you like this kind of content. If you think it's going to be valuable for you, stick around and I'll give you what I think's going on that kind of blew my mind when I realized just how significant it is. All right. So 8 months ago, every article that was written about EVs, BEVs, electrification, all the things that were coming in the new world that Elon Musk has been, leading us towards, pretty much every one of those articles, or a lot of those articles, had this caveat. They would have a parentheses in there that would say, except there's not enough batteries, there's not enough battery materials. So at some point, a lot of people are not going to be able to make the cars. They're not going to be able to make the power walls. They're not going to be able to make the battery storage. They're not going to be able to do what's necessary in order to bring us into that age. Now, that was like 8 months ago, 7 months ago, 6 months ago. That's what everybody was writing, including me. Lithium prices were going crazy. Copper prices were going not as crazy. Pretty much across the board, commodity prices were going up. Now, a lot of that had to do with the continuing, repercussions of COVID, but they also had to do with the war in the Ukraine and with all kinds of other issues that come along. But mostly it was this upswing and then downswing and then too much inventory and not enough and everything else that happened with COVID. So with so many swings, sometimes you don't see the next one coming. And so if you're smart, you try to stay ahead of these swings and you see these opportunities coming and you try to see how to manage these swings. Well, the last one, the most recent one, and it kind of crept up on me. I think it crept up on you, and I think it crept up on everybody, except maybe the miners and the makers and maybe people like automakers, maybe even Elon, maybe they knew a little bit before we did. They could kind of see the handwriting on the wall. But all of a sudden, there was this first note. It was the first thing we heard, which was third quarter earnings call. I can't remember exactly, was we have all the batteries we need. We have plenty of batteries, no worries, we're good. And at the time, it was mind-blowing. It was kind of one of those times when you just sat and you go, okay, what does that mean? How do we even take that in? What do you mean you have all the batteries you need? And what does that do for strategy, both short and long term? Is this a long term, we have all the batteries we need? Because my theory has been for a very long time, I have this on videos, you can go back and look at them. My theory has been, yeah, we're a little short of materials and batteries now, but then there's gonna be a lot up until about 2026, 2027, the batteries, they get plenty of batteries and plenty of materials to be able to do what's necessary. And then there might be, because there's going to be this point at which a lot of car companies and Tesla are going to be building a lot more BEVs. And at that point, I saw there might be this hiccup. But I didn't expect what happened. I promise you, I didn't expect this next step. But we also know from Tony Seba that he says battery prices will continue to go down throughout the rest of this decade. And BEV prices will continue to go down through the rest of this decade. Well, I've got that intellectually, but when I'm looking at what's happening in front of me through 2022, it just didn't make sense. So that was the first little clue. Then the second clue was that lithium prices started to drop a little bit, and then they dropped a little more. And then we're going, what's going on with lithium prices? And then they dropped a lot. And then all of a sudden we get CATL putting out some kind of an announcement, a statement, that they were running at 60% capacity, and they were meeting with all the automotive companies to redo their contracts lower, to reduce the costs of their batteries. Well, the lithium prices and the copper prices and everything else coming down, that was shocking. But the CATL announcement, I think it is shocking. I don't know why people just weren't paying attention. It was huge, massive news. All right. So when human beings in a capitalist society, some of whom are smart, they begin to see opportunity in a crisis like this. And it wasn't Elon alone. Other manufacturers of autos and related products and governments, everybody was trying to get on the electrification thing. Everybody was out there, building new factories and putting all this stuff in place. They didn't see it coming either. Congress passed bills encouraging new manufacturing in the United States, new mining in the United States, because we're short of all these minerals, we're short of all these batteries. And so all of these people started building the mines, expanding mines, looking for new mines, putting in new production capacity and batteries, and planning for a future where there would be more batteries. But then all of a sudden, maybe there was just too much going on. That's why lithium prices started to drop. Maybe there was not enough of the EVs being built by the other companies other than Tesla. And so all of a sudden, CATL and others had too many batteries. Anyway, so everything's changed. And we haven't really said it. We know all this is happening, but I can't find a single YouTuber. I can't find a single person on the street. I can't find one CNBC pundit who has said, this is a complete change and requires a complete change in strategy by everyone associated with what's going on. Again, I think the strategy will be at least 2 years. I think 2023, 2024 into 2025, the price of batteries is going to be lower, and they might continue lower after that. I don't know. It's just too far out to know because there's so much new battery capacity coming on, and a lot of new mining capacity coming on, and a lot of new battery types coming on, chemistries, and ways that almost every week we hear about another chemistry or somebody else that's got something new coming that's going to reduce the cost of batteries. And so that's where we are right now. So now you can take another look. Now drop back and take a look at January 1, and Elon is faced with a decision. Does he maximize capacity for all year and into 2024 while he maybe cuts the prices, which is already his mission statement? He wants to cut the prices so that more and more people can buy the cars, and he knows he gets more TAM the more that he cuts the prices. So does he cut the prices? Well, I didn't know, and you didn't know, that part of what he was probably already knowing about was that these costs were going down, and not just going down a little, not going down 0.5% or 1%. Lithium dropped over 50% from its high. A lot of the other ones are down 10, 20, 30%. And we don't know what CATL did with their pricing, but I'm guessing that the cost of the batteries went down dramatically. We're not going to know right away just exactly what we need to know to see the intelligence of Elon's decisions over the last 100 days, I guess, in terms of cutting the prices relative to what the margins will continue to be. I've done an entire video on all the other ways that I think margins will have been mitigated. The margin drop, which everybody's expecting, down to 20%. I think it's not going to be anywhere near 20%, but we'll find that out next Wednesday. because I listed, I think, 10 different ways that those costs have been mitigated by things like we're selling way more Model Ys, and people probably have increased the kind of car that they purchased, the model that they purchased. They could afford more. There's a whole bunch of reasons why the margin may still be up around 22, 23, maybe even more %. So we'll find this out. The first quarter, this first quarter report coming out next week might tell us a lot about all of this. I'm guessing it might be the second quarter or the third quarter before we really get to see the overall strategic analysis that went into the decisions about the prices being cut in terms of how it's affecting margins. Anyway, I hope this has been useful to you. Again, I don't see anybody else talking about this as a major strategic change based on a massive change in the underlying data and information that was available. I would love to hear your comments about this. Do you think this is as important as I do? Do you think I'm completely off my rocker? Let me know in the comments. You know I read them. You know I'll respond to them. And it's been great talking to you.
Click the link below to get your paperback, Kindle, or audiobook now.